Hello everybody, Jim Keeling here again. I'm going to try to do another little pottery demo. I'm not sure how these are going to load. I did a kiln opening and I don't know this little camera, I'm supposed to put it on standby and I turned it off, so it's going to make the kiln opening probably into two different clips. I'll try to number them in sequence if you're interested in that. Last clip I showed you a little bowl, and then on one of those clips on the kiln opening I showed you that same bowl after it was finished and been carved. Tonight I'm going to do a mug, coffee mug, and hope that that'll be something to interest you. I know some of you might get tired of watching it. That's fine. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you want to, go at it. So we're going to get down on the wheel and show you what's going on down there. So just hang on. I've already got it in the center, and the clay has been in the center. It takes a little bit of time away. I think these clips are only supposed to be 10 minutes, so we're going to try to stay in that time frame if I can keep up with what's going on with what I'm doing, and also with my clock. Coffee mugs. These and when you're making things on the wheel, the way you do the sizing is according to the weight. I look at a bowl and I say, well, that's a 3-pound bowl or a 2-pound bowl, and so in that situation, most of my coffee mugs wind up being about a pound. And if you get your sides and everything about the same, like each time, and you want them pretty thin. You don't want them so thin they're just going to break every time you touch them, but you don't want them real heavy either. And also the bottoms, you don't want to get the bottoms too thick, but you don't want them too thin. There's got to be a happy medium in there. So if you do those things consistently, they'll be about the same size. Some of these potters want to move real fast. They run their wheels, seem like top speed, and they want to pull the clay up just really fast. I guess I've got a different approach. I don't believe you ought to get in a hurry with clay. I'm not interested. I'm not doing it for the speed. I'm not trying to see how many I can turn out per hour. Another thing I don't try to make exact duplicates. I don't think I could do that anyway. I'm not that good. But a lot of these guys will put a gauge on here and they'll pull their clay up to a certain height and a certain width, and they're still all handmade and none no two exactly alike. But one thing for sure, you're not going to ever accuse me of any of mine looking exactly alike, because every one of them are totally unique. I don't use a gauge. I don't have any throwing gauge, and I sort of let the clay sort of help me decide what it wants to do. But generally I have a basic shape that I go by. And I like a little bit of a rounded belly on it. I like just a good flare at the top, but I don't want to. I see all different kinds. Everybody has their own style of mugs that they like to make, and same way with bowls and stuff. Some of these guys that do these mugs so fast, then they also have contests on firing to see how fast you can fire your clay. And I like that old saying, God never gets in a hurry, but He's never late. I like to connect with this clay, and I don't mean that in any sense. I'm not a tree hugger, and I'm not one of these that's in connection with Mother Nature and all this stuff. I believe in God the Creator, and I give Him all the glory. But I do feel that clay is such a basic element that there is sort of a connection to our earthiness. There where it said the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground there in Genesis. That word formed is the same word that He later used in places like over in Jeremiah, where the potter formed the vessels on the wheel. And the word formed has the connection with the potter's wheel. So God's forming us, and I know in my own life I get in a hurry, but God don't get in a hurry. God And I mentioned the other night, sometimes he goes back and redoes things maybe we're not doing just exactly right, things get out of kilter, we get ahead of God, and certainly we do that. It's awful easy to do, and it's easy. This clay, it would be so easy for it to fall and get completely out of shape. The main thing in dealing with clay is centrifugal force. You want everything in the center, but you also understand that there's something in clay that's constantly pulling it out of center. So the clay has a natural tendency to want to get away from that center. You know, you take the old thing, take a bucket and put water in it and sling it around in a circle, and the water's going to stay in there. That's centrifugal force. Well, this same thing works in our own lives. You know, the devil's there. There's a force of evil. Paul said, when I would do good, evil is always present with me. And it's so true in our own lives. And when we start trying, and maybe we want to be trying to find the center of God's will, but it seems like the old devil's just always there trying to pull us out, trying to get us out of that center and away from that center. And as I said, it's the vessel, if it's out of center, you can use it, but it won't be a pretty vessel. It won't be a vessel of honor, if you would. It's you know, sometimes we get hooked up on the will of God. God has a perfect will for us. His will has a perfect plan for our life. Sometimes we get things out of shape, and we have to wind up with God's permissive will. Now, that's not saying God don't love us. Not saying that God can't use us. But I believe a lot of times we miss God's perfect will because we either get in a hurry on certain things, or you get tired of waiting on God. You just remember God's working, and boy, I tell you, some of these hard times that come into our life, some of these furnaces we go through. I think about these pots as I pull them out of the kiln. I guess the most exciting, well, I love throwing on the wheel. I could do this 10 hours a day and not get tired of it. But probably the most rewarding part of doing anything with clay is the kiln opening. When you open that kiln and you pull that finished piece out, it's ready. When you pull it out of that kiln, it's ready to go into the kitchen and be used. And it's a vessel fit for the master's use. That's a little cup. Now what I'll do, and I'll show you this in another clip, I'll put a handle on it, and that's a whole nother story. I might be getting up too high. I might be getting out of the. I didn't flip my little lens thing around so I can see. But we pull a piece of clay and we attach it here, and we bring it down to here and put the handle on it. And like I was saying the other day, these are not really what you call high fire. These are cone 6, which is microwave, dishwasher, anything you want to do with it. It's safe for anything. I need to smooth that top just a little bit more. It's safe, anything you'd want to do with it, and it's, you know, up to years and years of service. If you want to put your hot cocoa in there, cocoa mix in there cold, and put it in the microwave, it'll work for that. All right, that's another one of the little clips. I hope that's a blessing to you. I appreciate all of you that have been so kind and write and tell me how you feel about it. I'm going to flip this around where I can see what I'm doing here. Appreciate all of you that are said all those kind and nice things. I appreciate it. I want this to be a blessing. I don't want it to be a drag, and I don't want you to feel like you have to watch it just because of whatever. But anyway, God bless you. See you next clip. Thank you.